Section 5. Design Patterns and Principles. In this section, you will learn design patterns required to effectively manage test framework's complexity and maximize its maintainability and transparency. Let's start with some of the easier design principles: KISS, DRY, and YAGNI. Considering the fact that these were coined by engineers, all design principles come in acronyms. Some are good and convenient acronyms like KISS, DRY, and SOLID. Others may have not worked out as mnemonic as their creators hoped, like YAGNI. KISS is a design principle noted by the US Navy in 1960. The KISS principle states that most systems work best if they are kept simple rather than made complicated. Therefore, simplicity should be a key goal in design, and that unnecessary complexity should be avoided. Although originated in the Navy, this principle has found its second life in software development. By simplifying the components of your system, you retain the maintainability of your system and avoid over-engineering. In my opinion, both effects are fairly important for you in the long run. As for the history of this acronym, it was reportedly coined by Kelly Johnson, lead engineer at the Lockheed Skunk Works, the creators of Lockheed U-2 and SR-71 Blackbird spy planes, among many others. The principle is best exemplified by the story of Johnson handing a team of design engineers a handful of tools, with the challenge that the jet aircraft they were designing must be repairable by an average mechanic in the field under combat conditions with only these tools. Hence, the stupid refers to the relationship between the way things break and the sophistication available to repair them. In software engineering, don't repeat yourself, or DRY, is a principle of software development aimed at reducing repetition of software patterns, replacing it with abstractions, or using data normalization to avoid redundancy. The DRY principle is stated as every piece of knowledge must have a single, unambiguous, authoritative representation within a system. The principle has been formulated by Andy Hunt and Dave Thomas in their book, The Pragmatic Programmer. They apply it quite broadly to include database schemas, test plans, the build system, even documentation. When the DRY principle is applied successfully, a modification of any single element of a system does not require a change in other logically unrelated elements. Additionally, elements that are logically related all change predictably and uniformly, and are thus kept in sync. Besides using methods and subroutines in their code, Thomas and Hunt rely on code generators, automatic build systems, and scripting languages to observe the DRY principle across layers. You aren't gonna need it, or YAGNI, is a principle of extreme programming that states a programmer should not add functionality until deemed necessary. XP co-founder Ron Jeffries has written, "Always implement things when you actually need them, never when you just foresee that you need them." Other forms of the phrase include, "you aren't going to need it," and "you ain't gonna need it." YAGNI is a principle behind the XP practice of do the simplest thing that could possibly work. You wouldn't believe it, but an acronym for this practice is acknowledged, and it is DTSTTCPW. I cannot believe I spelled it in one take. I also cannot believe someone considers this a useful acronym. It is meant to be used in combination with several other practices, such as continuous refactoring, continuous automated unit testing, and continuous integration. Used without continuous refactoring, it could lead to disorganized code and massive rework, known as technical debt. YAGNI's dependency on supporting practices is part of the original definition of XP, which is extreme programming. Now that you are aware of software development community's fascination with acronyms, and some of the more basic but nevertheless important principles, we can press forward with more advanced concepts.